Welcome, welcome everyone, welcome everybody, welcome my dearest student. My name is Mr. Muhammad. I am the new science teacher for 6C. Today we will talk about a new unit. It's called thermal energy, and a new lesson is called heat conduction. Okay. At first, before beginning anything, let me ask you some questions. As what do you feel when you touch a cup of coffee, an ice cream, a cup of tea, a piece of ice, and finally an electric iron? You can answer by I feel hot or I feel cold. So, who can answer with me? Yes, I feel hot with feeling, touching a cup of tea. And I feel cold. I feel cold when I touch an ice cream. Yes, I feel hot when I touch a cup of coffee. Of course, I feel cold when I touch a piece of ice. Yes. I feel hot when I touch an electric iron. So, you can answer by feel cold, feel hot. Feel cold, feel hot. Okay, all of your answers are corrected. And how to understand why? When you feel hot or cold, you feel an energy. Energy? I heard it before. Yes, you heard it before in primary 4 and in primary 5. Let's begin. An energy, its ability to do work or make any change. An energy, its ability to do work or make any change. So when I move my pen, I make energy. When I move myself, I make energy. When I feel, I make energy. When I talk, I make energy. So energy have some forms, like our t-shirt. We don't wear the same t-shirt, but all of them is called t-shirt. You have a red, you have a blue, you have a black t-shirt. So, let's know our objectives of our session today. Number 1, identify the concept of heat energy. Identify the concept of heat energy. Number 2, determine the usage of heat energy. Determine the usage of heat energy. Number 3, identify the concept of temperature. Identify the concept of temperature. And finally, determine some materials that are good conductors of heat or bad conductors of heat. Let's begin. At first, what is the meaning of heat energy? We heard that the forms of energy: sound energy, electric energy, light energy, and thermal or heat energy. Heat energy, it's a form of energy that's transfer from higher temperature object to lower temperature object. Again, what is the meaning of heat energy? It's a form of energy that transfer from the higher temperature object to the lower temperature object. Let's understand meaning of higher to lower. We can imagine the sand watch. We can imagine this image. The heat energy move from higher object to lower object. Again, from higher object to lower object. So, when I move from higher object to lower object, energy is done. And heat energy transfer energy from higher object temperature to lower object temperature. So, we had answered some question at first. Like, when you hold a piece of ice in your hand, you feel cold. Now it's the time to understand why. When you hold a piece of ice in your hand, you feel cold. Let's answer it. Because heat energy transfer from higher temperature object that's in your hand. Your hand is higher to the lower temperature object that is the piece of ice. Again, when you hold a piece of ice in your hand, you feel cold because the heat energy transfer from the higher temperature object, what is your hand, to the lower temperature object, the piece of ice. Okay, who can answer this? It's the same question, but it is different in something. When you hold a hot cup of tea in your hand, you feel hot. Yes, you can answer. Yes, because the heat transfer from higher temperature object, what? The cup of tea, of course, you are excellent, to the lower temperature object, what is? Your hand. Excellent. So, who can answer? When you hold a piece of ice in your hand, you feel cold because the heat transfers from the higher temperature object, what is? Your hand, to the lower temperature object, the piece of ice. That is, the piece of ice is the lower temperature object. Of course. And the second question, when you hold a hot cup of tea in your hand, you feel hot. Why? Because the heat transfer from the higher temperature object, what is? The cup of tea, of course, to the lower temperature object, that is your hand. Of course. Well, the second objective, it was to identify or determine the usage of heat energy. You know the fire, you know the heat. What can we use the heat? Yes, warming, of course. Warming from fire, by fire, warming by fire. Number 2, cooking, of course, cooking food, delicious food. Number 3, heating water, boiling it, make drinks, soft drinks, hot drinks. Glass industry, that's new. Yes, glass is made by fire and heat energy. And processing food industry, to make food in boxes in a lot of days, we use heat energy. And like bread, we use and heat energy to make it. And finally, drying washed clothes. Okay, who can tell me that's again? The usage of heat energy. Yes, warming, cooking, heating water, glass industry, processing food industry, and finally drying, washed clothes. ماشي. Okay. We repeat. Who can repeat the meaning of heat energy? Who can? Who can? Yes, heat energy, it's a form of energy that's transferred from higher temperature to lower temperature. We repeated the word that called temperature. What is the meaning of temperature? Let's understand. What is meant by temperature? A temperature, it's a degree. It's a number to show us the hotness and coldness degree. Again, it's a degree of hotness or coldness of a body. We can use a thermometer. It's a device to measure the temperature. We can use a device to measure a temperature. It's called thermometer. Again, what is the meaning of temperature? It's a degree of hotness or coldness. Who can repeat it? Yes. What is the meaning of or temperature? Yes, you're excellent. You are excellent. Okay, it's activity time. But before having our activity, we must divide ourselves to two groups. One group is called stars and the other group is called moons. Who can do it with me? Yes, let's divide yourself to two groups. Okay, there is stars, there is moons. Let's begin. Any experiment or any activity have some steps and tools and observation and finally conclusion. Again, any experiment or activity have tools, steps, observation and conclusion. Let's do with me. We have some tools like a glass container, a metallic spoon, a plastic ruler, a wooden pencil, boiled water, clay, molten wax, three buttons. Of course. Our steps, step by step. Number one, Stick a button on the ruler and the spoon and pencil using molten wax. Molten wax. Then fix them at the edge of the container using clay. Fix them at the edge of the container using clay. Number 2, pour boiled water in the container to be filled. Like this image. Yes, you are right. Number C, an observation. What do you see? What do you observe? When I put the boiled water, the button on the spoon only fall. Only spoon, its button fall. Okay, our conclusion. There is some material can classified into two groups by heat or their heat conductivity. Into two groups, types. Number 1, heat conductors that call good conductor of heat. Number 2, heat insulator or can call bad conductor of heat. Again, we can see our experiment in this video. Okay, let's see it. And finally, we have classified our materials in two groups. Number 1, good conductors of heat. What is the meaning of it? They are materials that let heat flow through, move it. As most of metals like iron, copper, aluminum. After that, bad conductors of heat we can call heat insulators. They are materials that don't let heat flow through, don't move, as wood, glass, plastic, and gases like air. Now we can ask some question. Give reason why we can call iron is considered as a heat conductor, and we can call wood is considered as a heat insulator. Who can answer? Okay, I will answer and help you in the first one. You can call iron as heat conductor because it let heat flow through them. It let heat flow through because it allow heat to flow through. Let it's same. So you understand why. The second one you answer. Who can answer? Who? Wood is considered as a heat insulator. Yes, because it doesn't allow heat to flow through. Of course, now we have a competition. Who can answer? Answer for 5 only question. We can use the first 5 question. Come on, let's do quickly. In your paper. Number 1. Heat is a form of space, not. Number 2 is the degree of hotness and coldness of a body. Number 3, we measure temperature by using what? Number 4. What is good conductor of heat? Number 5. Wool. Wool is what conductor of heat? Come on. Who can answer first? Our competition is open. Okay, let's see. Okay, excellent, excellent. No, that's wrong. You finish it. Okay, take the another 3 question.